Hello everyone, welcome to the Titanic Museum in Branson, Missouri. My name is First Classmate Jamie, and it's my pleasure to have all of you here in the exhibit today. Now, this museum has over 400 real Titanic artifacts that are valued at over $4 million. And every year we take things out, bring new things in, so anytime you come back, there's always something different to see. This year, we have a brand new exhibit, a huge exhibit, in fact. We are focusing this year on the amazing women on Titanic. These are women who broke the glass ceiling in 1912, things they weren't supposed to be doing, but they did them anyway. Now, we have a fantastic new exhibit here at Titanic Branson, and a first-class passenger who was on Titanic happened to be the most famous dress designer in the entire world. She would be like the Versace or the Armani of 1912. Everybody knew her name, and almost every first-class passenger would have had one of her couture design gowns. So we're very fortunate that we have 3 new exhibits here inside of the museum, and we have been able to get on loan from the Fashion Institute in Los Angeles. Their curator brought personally Lady Duff Gordon, the first-class passenger, the most famous dress designer in the world who was on Titanic. We have her actual dress collection. These dresses are over 100 years old, and you're going to see when you look at the dresses that they're very, very soft features, which was a new feel for 1912, the Edwardian era. And another thing you're going to notice will be her signature was flowers, these hand-sewn flowers on everything. You'll notice that we brought out flowers. It's in honor of her. So Lady Duff Gordon, she was a true pioneer in fashion. She invented the first dresses ladies could wear without a corset. She invented the kick pleat and the slits in dresses and skirts. And she was the first one to have an actual runway model show. They didn't do that before. They were just on still mannequins. And I love the fact that she called her runway shows mannequin parades. So we are very, very fortunate to have the collection. Now, if you're a fan of the movie Titanic, well, she's mentioned in the movie, and she actually gets a little cameo in there. When Rose is bringing Jack down to the big dinner party, she leans in and whispers to him, "There's the lady who makes the naughty lingerie." Now then, we have brought in the flowers in honor of her, and you're going to notice a pink theme here. It's all in honor of Lucille Lady Duff Gordon. So we've got more things to look. Let's go see. This is the second portion of the exhibit for the first-class passenger on Titanic, Lucille Lady Duff Gordon, and these are wedding gowns. So we're very excited to have these, and they are on loan to us from the Fashion Design Institute in Los Angeles. And these particular dresses, you know, they're over 100 years old, and when they came to us, it was a very big deal because they came in a huge crate, and the crate itself had to be acclimated to the weather in Missouri because of these fine textiles, and the crate itself had a level on top, and the crate could not be moved in a certain way. They had to stay level the entire way, and so all the crew gathered around for the uncrating of this, and inside of it, even the boxes that these were packed in were special type of box. You know, they had to be treated to make sure the acids don't enter, and then even the tissue paper to wrap it, because these materials are so delicate and so fragile that basically you can just almost breathe on them and they just, they disappear. So it had to be handled very, very carefully. So when you come to the Titanic Museum and you see these, it's beautiful to see these dresses, but you've got to remember, they're over 100 years old, and these are wedding dresses. So we're thrilled to have these. And this one in particular right here, it's got a lot of history to it. It is actually, it was worn by the 7th great niece of President George Washington. So there you have it. You know, you kind of get 2 history bits in one there. So we're very, very excited, and we have these displayed in first class, of course. Now think about this. Lucille Lady Duff Gordon, the first class passenger on Titanic who designed these dresses, you know, she started out dressing her dolls. That's what got her interested in design. And then she got married and had a little girl named Esme, and that marriage didn't work out too good. Now she's a single mom, and for her to support herself, for her and her daughter, she started as a dressmaker out of her home as a single mom in 1893. That's a big deal. But she did go on and go ahead and get married again. And that's when she opened her couture line of designs. And we're going to go see that now. So let's go. We're now here at a storefront window. We've created this for Lucille Limited, and that was her couture line. And this lady, she really took off. She took the fashion world by storm. You know, everybody knows that Paris, France, is the top for fashion. Well, here came this English lady in and turned Paris up on its heels, and they couldn't believe it, but they wanted what she had, and every lady wanted to have a Lucille Limited gown. And every first-class lady on Titanic probably had at least one or two of her couture gowns. Now, she had design couture stores in New York, Paris, London, and Chicago. And these are a few of her gowns here. And this one in particular here on the right, this would be for a more mature lady. And then this one here on the left would be for a young debutante just starting out on the town. And so we've created here in the museum a storefront window. So you can imagine yourself just coming and shopping and dreaming about having a real Lucille Limited dress just for your own. So she, by this point, had really, really developed a name for herself, and everybody in the world knew who she was. She was the first couture line to have 3 branches in different countries, so that was a pretty big deal. Well, she actually was the first one to go to Sears and Roebuck, and she designed an affordable line of fashion so that every woman could afford to dress nice and feel good about themselves. But we're very, very proud to have the exhibit here for Lucy, Lady Duff Gordon, the first-class passenger on Titanic, who was the most famous dress designer in the entire world. And we have the actual dress collection here. It's over 100 years old, and we're thrilled to share it with you. This year here at the Titanic Museum, we have a new exhibit and a new focus. This year we're focusing on the amazing women on Titanic. Now, every single passenger who was aboard the Titanic was amazing, and they all had fantastic stories. And it's easy for us to forget that they were real people. They had real families and real lives, and that they weren't just a character in a movie. They were real. And that's our job here at the Titanic Museum, is to tell their real, true story every single day. And it's an honor for us. This year at the Titanic, the amazing women on Titanic. These were women who in 1912 broke the glass ceiling. They did things that women weren't supposed to be doing in 1912, but they did them anyway. Now, the most notable first-class passenger on Titanic, the most famous passenger, was the unsinkable Molly Brown. Everybody knows her name when you say that. Well, they know her really from the movie and that she was feisty and things like that. But she really was something else. This lady was born dirt poor in Hannibal, Missouri, not too far from the museum here in Branson. And then by now she's moved to Denver. She's gotten married, and her new husband are wealthy beyond their wildest dreams. Well, money wasn't just enough to satisfy her. No, she went and learned many, many different languages fluently. She traveled the world, and she initiated and started what we use today as the juvenile court system. So we still use it today in her works. She also ran for Senate 7 years before women even had the right to vote. That's what she did. Talk about breaking the glass ceiling. She shattered it. Now, there are so many stories to tell you when you come to the museum. For example, Annie Funk, she was a second-class passenger, and she was the only Mennonite lady on board Titanic. Think about this. This is over 100 years ago. She is a Mennonite lady, and she has a dream. She wants to open a school for young girls in India. Well, that would be hard today. A single woman going to India and opening a school for young girls. Well, she did that. She went to India and she opened a school. Now, it was very primitive. It was a, dirt floor, small school. But she did that, and she was in India for several years. And then she gets word that her mother is ill, and that's the reason why she's coming back on the Titanic. So extraordinary stories, things like this that you would never get the chance to know of the women on Titanic and what they did. And it's our great honor to share all of these fantastic stories with you. And if you have never been to the Titanic Museum before, you've got to come, because we have so many things here. It is a very interactive museum. You can touch things, feel things. You can climb up on the sloping decks. You can climb into a real lifeboat, touch an actual iceberg, dip your fingers into that 28-degree water, the same temperature the ocean was the night the Titanic went down. If you've been here before, well, every year we take things out and bring new things in, so there's always something different to see. And we have changed 3 new exhibits here in the museum, so you've got to come see what it's all about. We're very honored that we get to pay tribute to everyone who was on the Titanic. We hope that all of you will come and visit us here at the Titanic Museum and see the brand new exhibit that we have, the amazing women on Titanic. And don't forget to get your tickets at choosebranson.com.